Johnson, broadcasting live from the St. Patrick's Day political breakfast, hosted by State Senator Nick Collins. So today is when hundreds of Massachusetts politicians gather together, and they are here at the South Boston Ironworkers Hall, Local 7. It's a big day of history for Boston, March 17th. It's not only St. Patrick's Day, but it's also Evacuation Day. And so for the next couple of hours on this live broadcast, most of the decision makers of the state of Massachusetts are here, and they're going to put their politics aside. They're going to feast on a good old Irish breakfast, and they're going to engage in mostly playful, sometimes painful, often self-deprecating comedic jabs. We have with us today Tim Lynn, the former Commissioner of Transportation for Boston, here with us, and he's going to welcome everybody to the breakfast, and he's going to also introduce our MC and our host, Senator Nick Collins. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy St. Patrick's Day! Happy St. Patrick's Day! As we are now live on TV, let's welcome our head table guests. Let's welcome our head table guests. Just assume whatever I say, you need to clap. All right? Boy, the urge to say something really, yeah, I know. So we're going to fight that. You guys are going to do enough of that. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today a true son of South Boston who is going to kick us off here this morning, the hardest working member of the Democrats from Southie in the House. I just remembered who was there. Ladies and gentlemen, our great Congressman Stephen F. Lynch.
Hello there. Is this working? Sure, they give me a mic that doesn't work. Hello? Oh, there we go. This is good. All right. Good morning, everyone. So we're going to go live on TV very shortly, and we got to welcome Senator Collins cheering like Protestants, okay? As soon as they announce it, we're going to, give him a good welcome, South Boston style, okay? All right. We good? All right. Now, welcoming the host of this show, the greatest state senator in the United States of America, Nick Collins. For you, and if your name is Timothy or Pat, as long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the map. And if you come from the mountain or Killarney's lake so blue, well, spinning a song will make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. If you're Irish, this is the place for you. Well, if you're Irish, come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you. And if your name is Timothy or Pat, as long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the map. If you come from the mountain home or Killarney's lake so blue, the name song will make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. If you're Irish, this is the place for you. One more time now. Well, if you're Irish, come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you. And if your name is Timothy or Pat, as long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the map. If you come from the mountain home, the Killarney's lake so blue, well, you're wrong, we'll make a fuss. You're one of us. You're Irish. This is the place for you. One more time. Well, if you're Irish, come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you. Well, if your name is Timothy or Pat, as long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the map. If you come from the mountain home or Killarney's lake so blue, the stringers will make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. You're Irish. Last one more time.
Good morning, everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Sorry for my tardiness. I got stuck in the bus lane. Thank you. Whether you're here enjoying the bacon and eggs this morning or watching at home, thank you for joining us for this historic tradition. For the better part of a century, the breakfast has been a symbol of continuity to the Irish American community to celebrate the political, social, and cultural contributions of the Irish and the immigrant communities throughout Boston and the Commonwealth. We gather to celebrate the feast of Ireland's patron saint through the Irish traditions of humor and song. Let us be mindful that the freedoms we exercise here today, freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, freedom of religion, and freedom of the press, enshrined in our Constitution, are not free. We also celebrate those who have stood up for these precious rights at home and abroad, and our U.S. Armed Forces and first responders. Quite often they don't get the credit they deserve for the risks they take protecting our freedoms. Today we pay special tribute to Boston police officer Biel Norton, to whom this breakfast is dedicated. A son of South Boston, Officer Norton succumbed to conditions suffered on the job. His service and sacrifice are an example of what the fine men and women of the Boston Police Department risk to keep us safe. So for that and more, we dedicate this year's breakfast to Officer Norton and his family for what he gave to our city and Commonwealth. May his memory continue to inspire future generations to answer the call of public service through law enforcement and beyond. I want to also say hello to the most important people in my life, who I didn't get a chance to talk to that much this morning. My wife Olivia, and my daughters Justine and Josephine. So on behalf of my family, thank you for joining us. And remember, no matter where you come from, everyone is Irish on St. Patrick's Day. I want to thank all the small businesses who partnered with us today to make this event special. Small businesses are the backbone of our local economy. With the restaurant week upon us, we're even more mindful of that, which is why the General Court is considering legislation to extend things like outdoor dining. We've seen the controversy in the North End. And so before we get started, I want to remind all of my colleagues up here, one thing: anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. Just saying. I also want to recognize some distinguished guests who are with us today. I'm happy to see Ambassador Ed Flynn, former Mayor of Boston and Ambassador to the Vatican. Former Police Commissioner Willie Gross, thank you for being with us. And this one's really special. The proud father of 12, former Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and Lieutenant Governor, World War II hero Frank Bellotti. Before we get to hearing from my colleagues who are here, let's acknowledge some people who weren't able to join us this morning. Speaker Ron Mariano wishes he could be here with us, but when I ran into him at the State House last week, he told me that he never got an invitation and his schedule was booked. Turns out Norfolk County Treasurer Mike Bellotti was camped out in his front yard for weeks waiting to steal his invitation from his mailman. Somebody arrest this guy. It's a federal crime. throw him in the paddy wagon. Attorney General Andrea Campbell wasn't able to join us either today. We don't know where she is, but we know where she's not, East Milton Square. And a good friend of this breakfast, Senator Ed Markey, wishes he could be with us today. Senator Markey's always a great sport. And he, along with his staff, work incredibly hard for the constituents that we represent across the 1st Suffolk District and the Commonwealth. This might shock you, but Senator Warren is actually in D.C. this weekend. Last night, he attended an event for the Gridiron Club, which is the oldest media association in the country. Shocking. But since he has to be down there, he decided to clean out his basement and have a yard sale on St. Patrick's Day weekend. And we found out he had some pretty cool historic stuff. My personal favorite is the actual wagon that Senator Markey and General Henry Knox used to haul artillery from Fort Ticonderoga in upstate New York to Dorchester Heights 247 years ago today. He's also selling a dinner napkin that he took from the Last Supper 1,982 years ago this month. He left early apparently because the food was too salty and the jokes were bad. The top item was actually the dagger that Senator Markey and his colleagues used to kill Caesar 2,067 years ago this weekend. Let's just say the Antiques Roadshow has nothing on Markey. He's running says he's running the re-election in 2026, and you'll know that what they say these days, 80 is the new 70. So with an election year around the corner in 2026, the big question is whether Senator Markey runs again for re-election, and if he doesn't, who will run? Election time is coming, and the winds are briskly shifting, and the left wing is praying for the next slice of heaven. Who will run? Who will run? The AG and the mayor, Congresswoman, wait, Congressperson. We cannot forget our Lynchy. Will they run? Will they run? Campbell will build a war chest without a single dime from Milton or endorsement from Senator Warren. Won't stop her, she's not forgotten. Will she run? Will she run? Will she face off against the mayor who campaigned by bike and T-Pass? Won't get out of Eastern Mass. Will she run? Will she run? If our junior senator were gone at the ripe age of 80, Presley runs to the left of Marcy, which would leave a lane for Lynchy. Please run, Lynchy, run, and we'll all run together out of this house of labor. And we built and be salty for the better. Please run, Lynchy, run, and we'll all run together out of this house of labor. To Southie, there's no one better. Please run, Lynchy, run. We have a great lineup this morning. We're honored to be joined by Senator Warren, Congressman Lynch, Congresswoman Presley, Mayor Wu, President Spilka, Auditor DiZoglio, and so many more. Thank you all for my hometowns.
fall down on 8th Street, raise up on Beach Street. Southie is my hometown. There's something about it that makes me just shout it with a toss for miles around. I got doctors and teachers, lawyers and preachers, men from the old county down. Say they take you and break you, but they'll never forsake you. Southie is my hometown.
I'd say so far it's pretty good. And Frank Bellotti, former Attorney General, got a standing ovation, which was so nice. Okay, so my question is, what's everybody eating out there? Okay, so what is your traditional Irish breakfast? The things that I know, bacon, sausage, eggs, potatoes, beans, toast. Sounds pretty normal to me. What I didn't know was the black and white pudding. Okay, so we're not talking about Jell-O, no kind of chocolate mousse or anything like that. We're talking about blood, okay? We're talking about pork sausage blood. That's what makes a traditional Irish breakfast, is this black or white pudding. What makes it black, yes, is the blood. So if blood's not your jam, not a problem. You can go with the white pudding. That has all the same ingredients. It's just minus the blood. But basically it sounds like a breakfast of champions to me. So far, things seem pretty good, pretty up. I would say that State Senator Nick Collins did a fantastic first job with his original song. We got plenty more songs, and now why don't we take a little bit more of a listen to the very popular song in these parts, Southie is my hometown.
Germany, and the chancellor will know it when those babies got going. They had what it takes, yes, to read. And when the enemy was lurking, rich girls making hurricanes. Southie is my hometown. I was born down on 8th Street, raised up on Beach Street. Southie is my hometown. There's something about it that makes me just shout it with a toss for miles around. We had doctors and teachers, lawyers and preachers, men from the old county down. They would take you and break you, but they'll never forsake you. Southie is my hometown. Southie is my hometown. Oh, oh.
Following protocol, next up is our senior senator. Oh, wait 1 second. Take this call. Hello?
Senator Collins, good to see you back down at the Union Hall. Unions build America. Wish I could be there with you, but we're gearing up for a race. Your ability to host such an important event on such a big stage is remarkable. Incredible singing voice, top-notch. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. I got to put you on hold. I got a call coming in.
Senator Collins, wow, you look great up there. That song was outstanding. It should be nominated for something. Your breakfast is by far the best. And I know breakfast. Keep winning, Nick. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Wow. Thank you. Who said they couldn't agree on anything? Oh, we hung up on him. Senator Warren, I know you hate artificial intelligence. I kind of do too, but you have to admit that was pretty good. Thank you for being here. Back here where it all began, at the Ironworkers Hall 12 years ago in South Boston. Please, everybody, welcome United States Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Thank you, Nick. Good to see you, dear. Good to see you. Good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day. Good morning. Good morning. I am so happy to be here. It is great to look out and see all this green. Great dress, Ayanna. Michelle, you're looking good. I saw a green sparkly jacket there. Wow. Looks like it comes from Men's Warehouse Liberace collection. Am I right? Fabulous. Fabulous. You know, I'm wearing green, of course. I'm thinking green. Michelle Wu's Green New Deal, right? We're going to get that going. I love everything green, except Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is what's great, though, about St. Patrick's Day. It's how everyone celebrates it. Whether you're Boston's own Nick Collins or Rhode Island's own John Deaton. It's important to get together. Celebrations like this matter a lot right now because we are living in difficult times. I know the future may look a little bleak. Everyone's desperate for any sign of hope. Money is tight, but I have confidence that the Red Sox will turn this around. My staff told me that at some point I should do a national political joke. So here is my national political joke. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Yeah. Now, I know everyone is worried about AI, but artificial intelligence may be the only hope for Mike Johnson. So a little history. The first St. Patrick's breakfast was in 1909. Think about it. Back then, women were treated as second-class citizens. Foreigners were discriminated against. Abortion was illegal, or as Mike Johnson calls it, the good old days. Also on the national scene, maybe you've noticed, Donald Trump is just spinning out of control, coming for women's rights, overturning Roe versus Wade, setting the stage for IVF to become inaccessible. A lot of people wonder what's going on with him, but I think I know the reason. The man saw the Barbie movie and he panicked. Now, what I loved about the Barbie movie was how in Barbie land, women never had to go cleaning up the messes that men made. That probably sounds extra good to Governor Healey. What with the tea and the Cape Cod bridges, she's been cleaning up a lot after Charlie Baker. You know, it's important to have leaders in the community gather like this, to share a laugh, to have some fun, because Massachusetts politics is not for the faint of heart. After all, we showed up. Remember, this is not a popularity contest. Unless you're Charlie Baker, then that's exactly what it is. So before I forget, I want to do a shout out and a special welcome to the crew of the USS Truxtun that's here. We are so happy to have you. Happy to have you. Fun fact, the Truxtun is a 9,200-ton destroyer with a crew of more than 300, and the Truxtun is 3 feet shorter than Ralph Delatorre's yacht. Now, when I got here, a number of you asked what I've been up to since last year's breakfast, and here's the recap. Down in Washington, I have been 100% committed to creating jobs for those who just can't find work. And I am not going to stop until I find a job for Bill Belichick. You know, it's sad, but I guess after a losing season, the Patriots have moved on from Bill Belichick. As George Santos would say, diva down. Now, when I'm in D.C., I stay in shape by speed walking. I love to speed walk. Although in the United States Senate, a snail is considered a speed walker. In D.C., I'm also fighting against the Capital One Discover merger. That is the ugliest pairing since Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. There have been some touching moments in the Senate. I said goodbye to Mitch McConnell. He is finally stepping down. Unlike me, he did not persist. And I recently revealed that if I could share a blunt with anyone, it would be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, to be clear, that is merely hypothetical. Any green leafy substances in my purse are shamrocks. Of course, I never did smoke with The Rock, although my staff thinks that I have to be high to show up here today. The Rock is tough. He is a 10-time world champion wrestler, a 2-time intercontinental champion, a 5-time tag team champion, the 2000 Royal Rumble winner, and WWE's 6th Triple Crown champion. On the other hand, I share an elevator with Ted Cruz, so we're even. Finally, I would like to make a toast on this St. Patrick's Day. All we got's water. I know that's a little dangerous, but I'd like to make a toast on this St. Patrick's Day with a special message to everyone who follows me at this podium. May the road rise up to meet you. May the whiskey fill your glass. And if your speech goes long today, Local 7 will kick your ass.
Let's hear it for Senator Warren. Well, next up. Okay, I want to invite the governor and lieutenant governor to the podium. Mara, Kim. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, from the mean streets of Salem and Arlington, they are here, the Dun Queens.
To Ben, to Matt, to Tom, just reminding everybody, now Massachusetts runs on Dun Queen. And needing no introduction, my partner, sometimes it's hard to be your friend. You said you were going to support me.
I know.
Seriously, how great is it to be a Dun Queen? We get to run everything.
I mean, yeah, like the MBTA, people love you for that.
I know, I was walking through Southie. One finger salute. They know it's a first class experience.
Yeah, we are killing it managing the cost of housing as well.
Yeah, you been to Milton? They love us there.
Just because the Dun Queens can't step foot in Milton doesn't mean we're still going to get the job done.
Yeah. Or that you can't pay your rent in Southie. You know, look, when all else fails, we just pardon everybody. Marijuana pardons for everybody. And then everybody loves us again.
True. That's the way to do it. Make sure everyone can smoke their weed and not pay a price for it.
Anyone want to join us?
Sorry.
Come on, any Dun Queens? Dun Queens!
Who are the Dun Queens that are in the house? Where's
Andrea? Andrea?
Deb?
Michelle?
Giselle?
Giselle. Well, we found someone backstage. Let's get her out here.
One of our original Dun Queens from the mean streets of North Adams. Please welcome the third member of our band,
the OG, Governor Jane Swift. Woo! I'm back. I just missed you all so much in this event. Actually, that's not true. I'm just acting.
Hey, cheers.
To Senator Collins, thank you so much for having us. Thanks to the ironworkers. Thanks for everybody for coming out today. Big thank you to all of our veterans and our military families for your service. You know, goodbye.
The OG Dun Queen from North Adams, one more time.
Seriously, Kim and I are really grateful to be here this morning, grateful to Massachusetts. We've been a leader in so much. Next year, we're going to kick off the celebration, reminding people and the country where it all began, right here in Boston, right here in Massachusetts.
That's right. This is what our slogan's going to be for the rest of the country. You're welcome.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I'm about to get canceled. I have 3 sisters, so I'm used to that stuff. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Governor Swift. And thank you to Governor Swift, particularly for joining us all the way from the Berkshires. Even though she didn't want to use a helicopter, she had no choice because of Mary's bus lanes and bike lanes. True story. My wife and I met Governor Swift at Mass at St. Patrick and Raphael's in her home parish about 9 years ago in Williamstown while we were visiting the Berkshires for Labor Day weekend. It was at a time in the Mass when you were supposed to wish everyone around you peace with a handshake. She was sitting right behind us. It was before COVID when someone would actually shake your hand in church. Now they just give you a peace sign or a cautious wave. And I wasn't sure what to say to the governor at the time, if anything at all. But finally today I have the chance to say that. Peace be with you. And I have to admit, I was a bit starstruck, and it was at that moment I became a Swiftie. Congressman Lynch is up next, and I'm extremely thankful for his leadership, mentorship, introduction this morning, and as a former host of this breakfast right here in Local 7 Ironworkers Union Hall in South Boston that he helped build. Congressman Lynch has been a champion for his entire 8th Congressional District, but he always looks out for South Boston. We owe him a debt of gratitude, particularly for securing federal funds along with federal partners, Senator Warren and Markey, for the renovation of Dorchester Heights, the monument right up the street. Close to $40 million to restore that fortification, a testament to the founding of our nation and Evacuation Day, March 17, 1776. Because of his efforts, generations to come will be able to learn about our incredibly important history, Irish and American history. Please give a warm hometown welcome to our friend and neighbor, someone we're grateful to have us representing us in the United States House of Representatives, Congressman Steve Lynch.
Thank you. Thanks, Senator. Thank you very, very much. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone, and welcome to South Boston. This is great. Reverend Clergy, Father White, thank you so much for your blessing. To my colleagues in government, I want to thank you. My thanks to Nick Collins and my brothers and sisters from Ironworkers Local 7 for hosting this breakfast once again. I got a couple of quick shout-outs, just a couple. My brother-in-law, Joe O'Leary, and my brother-in-law, Mike Bohan, just both recovering from surgery. Joe is married to my sister, Karen. Mike is married to my sister, Donna. So my sympathies go out to both of them. But they're both doing well. It's so good to be home. I know I speak for the federal delegation. That is so good to be out of Washington and back into the great state of Massachusetts. I mean, things are so crazy. I don't think I've ever seen the country so divided. You know, it makes me actually long for simpler times, doesn't it? I mean, when I was a kid, you know, we used to play a little game called Spin the Bottle. And the way it worked in Southie was that, you know, the girl would spin the bottle, and if it pointed at you, she could give you a kiss, or she'd have to give you a nickel. So by the time I was 11, I bought my first house. And things are so expensive today, Madam Mayor. Things are so expensive today. You know, when I was a kid, my mother, you know, we lived in the projects. My mother would give me $1. I'd go up to the grocery store. I'd come home with a loaf of bread, gallon of milk, dozen eggs, you know, a pound of cheese. You could never do that today. There's just too many security cameras. And last week, my office was broken into. Yeah, my congressional office right here in South Boston. So, you know, it just so happened that my wife, Margaret, gave me a couple of tickets to Red Sox opening day. So, unfortunately, I left them on the desk. And then we come in the next morning, and the door was broken open. There was glass on the floor. And someone had come in and actually left 4 more tickets on my desk. Yeah, things are bad. Look, I know we got a long program. Before they give me the hook, I just want to acknowledge. So every year we have a chief marshal that that leads our parade, and you know, as members of Congress, we look at a lot of DD 214s. You know, so it's a Defense Department document that shows what a person did during their time in service. So this year's chief marshal is Jerry Wheeler. And Jerry grew up in the Old Colony projects. You know, I went to school he's got a big family. I went to school with Chucky Wheeler and Charlene Wheeler and Mamie Wheeler, but just salt of the earth. But Jerry served during the Vietnam War. He served 22 years in service, in active service. Absolutely. He was a naval aviator during the Vietnam War, 200 combat missions, and 150 carrier landings. So I know that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but I've done 1 carrier landing. And yeah, so I wanted to visit the troops. You know, I'm just a passenger. I'm not flying them like Jerry was. But so we go to Bahrain in the Middle East. They fly me out to, they wanted to fly me out to the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln. So they give you a briefing. This is how a carrier landing works. They give you a briefing for about 5 minutes. They gave me a life vest, looked like it was from World War I. It had a straw, like a soda straw, and a whistle attached. This is no lie. So, and then they give you a hat. Remember the kind of hat that Charlie Brown's dog Snoopy wore? It was kind of like that with a set of goggles, and they bring you out to the plane. Now the plane looks like an ordinary plane, except it's got a big hook on the back end of it, a big hook. So they give me this briefing, and then as we were walking out to the plane, they said, "You have any questions?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I do." I said, "What's with the soda straw?" And they said, "Well, you know, the idea is the plane is supposed to land by that hook on the back end of the plane grabs a cable." And you land on the carrier. But if it doesn't work out, you end up in the water, and that straw is for you to inflate your life vest. And I said, yeah, like that's going to happen. And then they said, and the whistle is, we're going to land at night, so we want you blow the whistle so we can find you. And they're serious. They're dead serious about this. So anyway, they get me in the plane. And the way it works is when the plane hits those cables, it goes from 172 miles an hour to 0 in 2.7 seconds. It's the most ungodly, violent thing that could ever happen to you in your life. And Jerry did this 150 times. So when we did it, luckily the hook of the plane caught the cables and we stopped. It was so violent. I was stunned. I was almost knocked out by the impact. My clothes came through my suit, like through the buttons in my suit. My hat was twisted around so that I was looking out the ear hole. And they rushed in to pull me out for a picture. And I said, you know, I know what you did to Mike Dukakis. You're not going to do that to me. But to Jerry Wheeler, served for 22 years in active duty. Like I say, he was a fighter pilot, 200 combat missions, 150 carrier landings. Then he left the service to become an instructor. So he teaches and has taught for another 22 years, total of 44 years, taught young men and women how to be naval aviators. That's an incredible service, a life service to our country. And we're enormously grateful. So today along the parade route, you know, Jerry's going to lead it. Jerry and the Wheeler family will be leading it. So let's all give him the welcome and the recognition and the acknowledgement he deserves. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
All right. Treat you all to a little song.
And it's no, nay, never, come on, no, nay, never, no more, will I play the wild rover, no, never, no more. I've been the wild rover for many a year, I spent all my money on whiskey and beer, but now I'm returning with the golden great door, and I never will play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never.
Okay, right now I'm joined by a very popular Southie resident. She might be even more popular than some of these folks on stage right now.
Thank
We
you.
have the founder of Cotton Southie. She has an incredible media site where she shares incredible stories about this neighborhood that we're in right now.
That's
so you've
right.
been here for years. This is Maureen Dayhill. So far, how do you think it's going?
So far, so good. I mean, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the Dunk Queens.
Dunk Queens. We didn't know. They were coming. And they're bright pink and they're bright orange.
The governor and the lieutenant governor knocked it out of the park. They were whipping munchkins into the crowd.
Yeah.
And it was a complete surprise, and I think everybody was really excited to see them. It was on point. It was current. You know, a nod to Ben and
I was going to say, maybe
Matt?
we'll get some kind of communication back from Ben and Matt.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be pretty incredible. They spent plenty of time
I was
in these
secretly
parks.
hoping they were going to be right behind them, but
There was a pause.
Yes.
Where there, and of course, then they brought up the former governor as well, and it was
Right.
like, could it be? That
Right.
was a nice thought. Okay, so what are some of the other highlights from today?
well, I mean, just the singing alone, I mean, it's fun. Nick's doing a fabulous job. It's not an easy job to be the host. He's doing a great job. He's keeping things moving. I mean, Congressman Lynch was honoring Jerry Wheeler, who is leading the parade this year, and he's impressive.
And so outside, how are things looking? Billy Costa, my co-host, and I, we did the parade for a lot of years out there. I will say it's warmer in here.
It is hot as heck
Yeah,
in the room.
definitely warm.
I think because there's a lot of hot air in here.
There's a lot of air in here, that's for sure.
It's definitely cooler out in the hallway. I've been chatting with a lot of the people who are attending the breakfast. I chatted with Tommy Tinlin, who warmed up.
He did such a
He
nice
did
job.
a great job.
Okay, we're going to go back. Bye.
As I mentioned earlier, this year's breakfast is dedicated to a friend of mine and many of his that are here today, son of South Boston police officer, the late Pierce Norton. Pierce was a fun-loving guy taken from us too soon, respected by all those he worked and served. Pierce began his career as a paraprofessional in the Boston Public Schools and was sworn in as a Boston police officer after graduating the Boston Police Academy in December 2013. The committee is honored to dedicate this year's breakfast to Pierce's life and legacy. We're joined by his many friends as well as his dad, Larry, and wife, Brittany. At this time, I'd like to welcome up Boston Police Officer Stephen McNulty for a special tribute to Officer Norton. Thank you.
I spent it in good company, and of all the harm that here I've done, alas, it was to none but me. For all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, and all the comrades that here I've had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that here I've had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But as it falls unto my lot that I must go and you must not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all.
Thank you, Officer McNulty. Folks that have joined us here this morning, Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox and Boston Police Commissioner Paul Burke, thank you for being with us. And special thanks to my Uncle Richie for his dedicated service to the Boston Fire Department these many decades, former president of the Firefighters Union, Rich Paris. Thank you. Congresswoman Ayanna Presley is joining us next. I want to thank her for being here. I've always been thankful that she was the first elected official to join my victory party in 2010 for state representative. Congresswoman, that's something I have never forgotten, never will. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Ayanna Presley.
Happy Evacuation Day. Happy St. Patty's Day. I want to express my gratitude to you, Nick, and Olivia and your family. I know that they sacrifice and serve right alongside you each and every day. in the state Senate, and we thank you for the indefatigable ways in which you advocate for your district and for all that you do to keep this tradition going. I love the fact that you're a proud girl dad. And so can we just please give it up to the senator and his family? Also certainly want to give it up to our brothers and sisters in labor. Thank you so much to the iron workers. Let's give it up to them. And for those of you that may not recall or be unaware, I worked for 6 years in banquet waitstaff, so I know how hard it is to navigate these rows and how heavy these trays are. Can we please thank our waitstaff? Thank you to our veterans. Thank you to our first responders. What a beautiful tribute to Officer Norton. Thinking of he and his family in this moment. It is wonderful to be here with all of you today. I do want to acknowledge, given the ways in which this head table have changed, happy Women's History Month. Not only to the women on this stage who have made history many times over, but the women who make history in our faith houses, in our communities each and every day. Give it up to your grandmothers, your mama, your auntie, your sister, your niece. Give it up to the women. I'm telling you, being a girl, being a woman is not for punks. I am not just sweating up here because I'm nervous or because of these lights. I'm in full-on menopause. It's not for punks, y'all. It's not for punks. But it is wonderful to be here with all of you today. It has been the great honor of my life to be the Congresswoman representing the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. This is a district that is a beautiful place to call home. It's filled with people of courage. There's great diversity, brilliance, innovation. The last 5 years in Congress have been unprecedented, but I have never lost sight of the people who sent me to Washington. The city of Boston, this diverse city, which has changed my life in so many ways. And while we're here honoring this incredible cultural tradition and in celebrating the diversity of our district, I do want to just acknowledge my Caribbean mother, Miss Shirley Shillingford, the mother of Caribbean Carnival. Caribbean Carnival, Lunar New Year, President Louis Jean, the Haitian Day Parade, and this incredible breakfast. I owe the city of Boston everything, and I owe the Irish so much. In particular, former Congressman Joseph P. Kennedy II, who gave me my first job in electoral politics. Let's give it up to Joe K. Incredible people like the great Chuck Monahan, our IBEW brother, who I miss, and the great John Walsh. You know, the St. Patty's Day breakfast is really a unique day. And honestly, it's a room that feels like home to me. Some elected officials say they feel uncomfortable up at this dais, sort of shifting in their chair, waiting their turn, rehearsing their jokes in their heads. But you know what? I like the view from up here. I like the vibe. I think I'd make an excellent MC for this shindig. As I said, I recently turned 50, and so I've been doing a lot of reflecting recently, thinking about what comes next for me personally, what comes next for me professionally. Admittedly, I've been a little coy, a little glib of late around what I am considering next. But before I get to that, let me let you all in on a little secret. Again, I love serving this Commonwealth, but I hate flying on planes every week. I was a surrogate for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 12 states, virtual and in-person campaign trips combined, and I was really banking on some high-speed trains by now. The airplane commute is really overrated. So I've decided that right here and right now would be the perfect moment to announce what is next for me. A new frontier, a new horizon. After serving half a decade, my husband is looking at me like, am I really going to say this? I am. After serving half a decade in the House of Representatives and a near decade on the Boston City Council, there is one level of government that has eluded me. A square left on my bingo card, if you will. And that is why today I'm publicly announcing my campaign for Senate. State Senate. State Senate. That's right, Nick Collins. I am coming for your seat. Send Ayanna back to Massachusetts, not to quote the former occupant of the White House too directly here, but it's got a nice ring to it, huh? You've got a pretty sweet gig up here, my friend. And I want it. The top hat, the shamrocks, the Irish band gassing up you and laughing at your lame jokes. I think I could do this well. You know, some of you were critical about Beyonce venturing into country music. Well, wait until you hear the little ditty that Dropkick Murphys and Beyonce have worked up for my campaign launch. Wait until you see Beyonce doing some Irish step dancing. I waited my turn. I'm ready to serve. Southie, let's be real. Who could represent you better than a bold, bald, progressive black woman? Now, Nick, would you like to respond? I'm ready. Let's
Yeah,
go.
You actually live in Senator Miranda's district to start. I mean, that might be something you want to check before you get up here.
Now listen. What about...
Bring it on.
Nick, what about... Let me tell you something, Nick. Layla Ali ain't got nothing on me.
We don't fight with boxing gloves in South Boston.
Southie style, you want to get into a little debate? All right? Okay. Lisa Kaczynski, are you here? Would you care to moderate this debate? Look at my family. My husband can't keep a straight face. And the press is panicked about if I'm kidding or not. Look, when's the deadline to pull papers? All right. Y'all would just have to wait and see. Okay. You don't need to worry. You're safe, Senator. Your Irish eyes can keep smiling. Congresswoman is the only title that I'm after. It's an honor to serve and to honor, and an honor to seek the people's support for a fourth term. Happy St. Paddy's Day, all. I love the Irish. I love your humor. And I love the tradition of standing up here and making powerful men very uncomfortable. And I love Nick Collins for playing along. Happy St. Paddy's Day, and have a wonderful day.
Got to check that map first, Congresswoman. All right. And now it's my distinct honor to introduce my leader in the Senate, President Karen Spilka. She has been great to work with, a true visionary, a leader guiding our body through uncertain times. I have to admit, I was at first offended that I wasn't invited to her Valentine's Day party, but last week, after seeing some of the photos, I just have to say thank you. Please give a warm welcome to President of the Senate, Karen Spilka.
Good morning. Oh, come on. Good morning. Great. It's great to be back in Southie today. I'm Senate President Karen O. Spilka. And I want to thank Senator Collins for having me here today. He's one of my closest allies in the Senate. We work really tightly together. I rely upon him for advice and guidance. So thank you, and it's wonderful seeing your beautiful family here as well. They're always terrific and supportive. What an amazing crowd here today. Yes, woo! Leaders in business, community, labor. Look, we even have our governor, Maura Healey. I'm not going to lie. She has had a really tough few months lately, a lot to tackle with the past few months. The migrant crisis, Steward health care, you've all heard about that. Yeah, boo. Declining revenues, 9C budget cuts. When I think about all of the hard challenges that she's had to deal with, sometimes I wonder, maybe I should write a song about that. But then I realize I'm an adult. Maura has actually been doing a great job, I have to say. Look at what she's done to get the funding for the Cape Bridges. She got those funds faster than Charlie Baker could cash his first NCAA check. The LG is also doing a great job. And how about her selfie game? Everywhere she goes, selfie, selfie. It's great. It's really strong. What she won't tell you is that it's actually just a paper trail to show that somebody from the team is in state. Whoa. I see Mayor Wu here this morning. She joined me, and as Nick mentioned, there were about 200 other prominent, wonderful women at my annual Galentine's Day event this past Monday. It was a great event. We had a lot of fun. Women supporting women, women celebrating women. But I have to admit, we made a mistake. We invited some men. And I know, we didn't know what to do. So I called Mayor Wu to ask her how to uninvite people to a party. I'm sure all of you have heard that Elizabeth Warren has an opponent this year. He literally moved to Massachusetts from Rhode Island maybe, 3 weeks ago? He did. It's true. It's funny, but it's true. He's a crypto bro. He wrote a book which is about 300 pages of him talking about how tough he is, how strong he is. And his candidacy is probably the biggest joke here today. I think he has about as much of a path to victory as an IVF embryo in Alabama. You're coming next year. I'm sure you've all heard that Princess Kate Middleton has not been seen in public for months. Where is she? What's happened to her? Everybody is wondering, has she gone missing? What's going on? And listen, I can hear the crowd here against the royal family. I'm with you. This sounds like a job for Diana DiZoglio. Instead of wasting taxpayer money and auditing the already audited legislature, all of us here chipped in to buy you a plane ticket to London to find out what's happened. However, there wasn't enough donations, so it's a one-way ticket. Have a great St. Patrick's Day.
I guess we're going to say ding, ding, ding. I want to take a minute to recognize some of our friends from across the First Suffolk, and thank you again, Father Joe White, who gave us a blessing, not only a good friend, but quietly doing tremendous work, fighting addiction and those battling mental health. Tom McGrath, President of South Boston Citizens Association, along with his wife, Kathleen, work incredibly hard, organizing events across the neighborhood to celebrate Evacuation Day, ensuring next generation understands our history. Thank you, Tommy. To Jack Owens, my friend and former teammate at Boston Latin School, who is helping lead Boston Latin tonight, the state championship at TD Garden, boys state championship, go Wolfpack. He's the handsome guy in the back with the silver hair there. A big congratulations to my friend Tim Murphy and the South Boston Youth Hockey Program, 2 championship teams this year. Don't call it a comeback. And keeping with the championship theme, a huge congratulations to the Dorchester Eagles and Beefy Cousins for winning the Under-14 Pop Warner Football National Championship. All right. We have some great support from our unions here today. I know the President of the Firefighters Union, Local 718, Sam Dillon's with us. Thank you very much, Sam. And Boston Police Patrolman Association, Larry Calderon. I see Carlos Armayo from Local 26 Unite here. Thank you for your support. Our next guest used Summer Street bike lanes to get here, which is why she was on time. But just like everyone else, she wasn't actually on a bike. The BPD escort that drove her here blew through a few lights. You know, standard operating procedure. And like every other emergency vehicle in Boston these days, they drove in the bike lane. So, but I got to tell you, no flies on Mayor Wu when it comes to planning and development in the city. Recommends a soccer stadium and a site with no parking, and on land they don't own. But despite that, Mayor Wu continues to break glass ceilings in new ways with a lot of firsts. Just recently, Mayor Wu was able to unite the city in a way we've never seen before. For the first time in anyone's memory, Mayor Wu was able to unite anti-development activists and the business community in opposition to her legislation to abolish the BPDA. That is something. On a serious note, I want to thank Mayor Wu for supporting the South Boston Allied War Veterans Council, restoring our historic parade route going by Dorchester Heights and the Veterans Post. Without further ado, please welcome the 54th Mayor of the City of Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. I am excited to be back in South Boston at the Ironworkers Hall for St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much to Local 7 for hosting us. And thank you to Nick and your entire family and all your team and volunteers for making sure that this tradition keeps going. I am incredibly honored to be here. We, as you heard, are celebrating today Chief Marshal Commander Wheeler, grateful to Parade Commander Greeley. I'm honored to be here with so many special guests from Ireland, active duty service members and veterans, colleagues in elected office and public service, and all those who just enjoy watching others squirm. You know who you are. Thank you, Nick. I especially appreciate your understanding and recognition of the personal risk that I take to be here every year. A few years ago at this event, I made a joke comparing the protesters outside my house to snowflakes. You saw on the news that the protesters were so offended at being compared to snowflakes that they sued me after the breakfast. It's true. But what went unreported was that the snowflakes got so offended at being compared to protesters that we haven't had a snowstorm in 2 years in Boston. Snow days, but no snowstorms. Okay, so knock on wood. I think we are clear of snow for the rest of the season. It was Groundhog Day a few weeks ago, and the official groundhog didn't see his shadow, so spring is coming early. You know the rule. If the groundhog sees his shadow, that means 6 more weeks of winter. But did you know Massachusetts mayors across the Commonwealth actually have a similar rule? But instead of a shadow, we're on the lookout for state officials. The rule goes like this. If a mayor sees the governor and lieutenant governor at an event in your town, that means 6 more days until your community gets a new migrant shelter. I'm not done. And if a mayor sees the attorney general, it means 6 days until the lawsuit's filed against you. Now, Boston will always do more than our share. It's who we are. We are a welcoming community. We've been a safe harbor for nearly 400 years, and we're very proud of that history. So Gov, LG, AG, I just want to offer up a solution that I think would help us all. The city of Boston is ready and willing to annex Milton. I'll take that. Okay. Seriously, I am so grateful to have such strong leadership and partnership from our state and federal leaders taking on issues with compassion and conviction. We're all trying to do things that some said would be impossible to get done. And in Boston, Commissioner Cox and I are very proud that we recently settled a police contract across the bargaining table that set a new national precedent. That's right. Thank you, Larry, and all of our union leadership. Our officers overwhelmingly voted to ratify a contract that would hold themselves to the highest standards of accountability anywhere, getting rid of the arbitration loophole for a whole list of the most serious crimes: murder, armed robbery, putting out space savers when there's half an inch of snow. The contract also invests in officer safety. So we want to get ahead of new and evolving threats that our officers are facing. So starting this next year, all our men and women in blue will be equipped with new state-of-the-art helmets in case they encounter any playground slides citywide. Remember, Commish, that was the biggest demand during negotiations. No more slippery slopes. Okay, it took a little while. Okay, moving on. As you heard, the governor has asked the Governor's Council to sign off on blanket pardons for possession of pot. And so, following her bold lead, today, I am officially pardoning Dorchester Street for possession of potholes. Okay. So this is, I'm struggling to the finish here. This is true. I am so not funny that my kids take pity on me this time of year every year. And so earlier in the week, my 6-year-old gave me this joke to tell. What did the street light say to the car? Don't look, I'm changing. Okay. In a changing world that can feel so heavy on so many days, we could all use a little more of the camaraderie and generosity of spirit embodied in this event and this community. The Irish-American immigrant story is the story of Boston and of the American dream. And so today we honor the sacrifice and determination from generations of new immigrants who built our city and continue to make Boston the best city in the world. Happy St. Patrick's Day. See you at the parade.
Some of my colleagues in the Senate want to make sure they get due recognition. Senator Sal DiDomenico, all the way from the great city of Everett. Senator William Brownsberger of Belmont, and Senator Mike Brady of Brockton. Thank you for joining us. And some more friends in labor want to make sure they get recognized for their support and their attendance this morning. President of the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, Rich McKinnon, thank you. Brian Williams from the State Police Association of Massachusetts. Jim Evers from the Boston Commons Union, Tim Pandel from Plumbers Local 12, and Southeast's own Danny O'Brien, Pipers 537. Our next guest is the original migrant at this breakfast. This year, I heeded Lieutenant Governor Driscoll's call and let him sleep on my couch, but just for the weekend. But he's helped me grow in my approach to inclusivity at this breakfast, so you can thank him for the culturally competent food and beverages you'll be enjoying after the show: espresso martinis, Godfathers, and Bardo's Pizza. Please welcome my friend, Norfolk County Treasurer Mike Bellotti.
Okay, I'm going to clean some of this up. Happy St. Patty's Day. Good afternoon and a hand to Nick Collins, who does a great job every year. This stuff is hard, as you know. Nick, thank you very much for allowing me to be here every year. Thank you. And thanks for your friendship. And Governor, you look like a psychedelic munchkin. You know that, right? And I'm not talking the donut. Wizard of Oz. Ooh, thank you, Governor. Do I get a judgeship for this? Okay, we saw the North End restaurateurs out there, didn't we? Harassing our great mayor and all, you know. How about a hand for those restaurateurs? They came all the way from the North End. Thank God Boston's a small city. I was going to bring food out to them, but the mayor said, no food outside dining. I said, we're in South Boston. It's about the Italian thing. It really isn't about the North End, is it, Mayor? Okay, that was kind of ad-lib. Oh, there we are. So this is actually kind of legitimate service. I walked in here 5 years ago, and Steve Lynch had all these great pictures of prior breakfast. And this is, my father was over there. He's going to be 101 in May. He just left. Unfortunately, 101. Nick was so kind to invite him. And this is not a joke, but this is an actual photo, probably from 50 years ago. My father prided himself. He said, I never went to that. Him and Bulger never got along. Now they're best friends. They get together all the time in the North End and sing songs. Well, they're the only two left. So this is from the 70s. The great Ray Flynn is in there. Mikey Flaherty's father. My father. Who else? But I just, you know, what a throwback that is. And to still have Ray Flynn and my father and Billy Bulger. But look it. We all struggle up here. Billy Bulger is not walking through that door, unfortunately. Neither is Mariano, Bill Galvin, Ed Bakke, and virtually all of the congressional delegations. I want to introduce quickly my wife, Gail, over there. Colleen, my daughter. Colleen worked for Danny Ryan, the Charlestown rep. Richie Paris, former firefighter, head for Boston. Juan Iacobucci, running fourth governor's council out of Quincy. We got a North End guy who opened a great restaurant in Quincy, Victory Point, and Marina Bay, Donato Fatoli. Am I saying it? Tafaroli. Donato. I want to say hi to that great lady who was a dear friend of mine at the State House when I was a rep years ago, Peggy Rooney of South Boston, great family. She was very kind to me. And all my friends at the Nickerson Post in Squantum. George Reagan is here with Elizabeth. George Reagan invented misinformation. Good job, George, 40 years ago. Richie McKinnon, firefighter, union boss, funeral director. He's got more good gigs than Marty Walsh. Good job, Richie. It took me forever to get in here today. Coming from Quincy, I finally found one of the few car lanes left in Boston. Thanks, Mayor. Nick, we know you're running for Congress, but yes, Madam President isn't a platform. You know that. You're going to mix it up. And why would you want to go to Congress? It's so stressful. I mean, they're fighting all the time. It's not like the old days. They never even get together behind the scenes. I mean, look at Steve Lynch. He's 37 years old. The last time this breakfast was truly good, the Bulger days, the Pats had not yet won a Super Bowl. Shoplifting was actually a crime. That's how long ago it was. Bill Galvin was Secretary of State. He still is, but he was Secretary of State. I'm going to pay for that one, folks. So, look it, I'm with you. You know, I lean your way. I'm a good Democrat. But I hear all these mega Trump people. There's a few closet ones in Quincy. And now they're complaining about all these Disney classics that are being remade in the likeness of wokeness. They're not happy, folks. But listen, Disney gets to do what they want. It adjusts to the new times. But they made a deal with the mega folks. Donald Trump got to rename some of those movies. That's the only way they would calm down on TikTok and social media. So, by the way, I didn't do this. Donald Trump did this. Don't blame me, okay, whatever happens here. Sleeping Beauty is now Sleeping Biden. Oh, Jesus. That pretty much told me I'm screwed the rest of the day. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is Snow White, Privilege, and the Seven Little Socialist People. Okay, I might move on from that. I have one more. You're going to love this one. 101 Dalmatians is now 101 indictments, okay? Come on, I just got Donald Trump. Hey! Okay, knew you'd like that one. Hey, the good news is the governor's doing pardons for all our marijuana offenses. The bad news is now I have to unseal my record so I can get eliminated. And, you know, I stole all my jokes today. Sweeney helped me. I'm not going to blame him for the bad ones, but that's the bad news, you know. And I didn't really footnote it. The good news is I have still not violated the Harvard College's plagiarism standard. Folks, you got to work with me. Look, I'm going to ring a bell. That means joke is coming. That means joke. Hey, the bad news is John Kerry's retiring as our environmental czar. The worst news is nobody noticed. And the good news is you don't have to fill it. The good news is the governor's holding back $140,000 for seawalls for Milton for violating the state housing zoning laws. The bad news is they're not near the water, folks. They don't need them. It's not going to change a thing. Okay, let's see what I got here. Nick, how am I doing? Yeah, listen, I can't be canceled. I'm already canceled. I'm the Norfolk County Treasurer. There's nothing lower than that. I have nowhere to go but up. Okay, this one is going to definitely get me canceled. Let's remove all the kids for this one. No, so an Asian guy, Hispanic guy, don't moan, a black guy walk into a room. That's not a joke. That's Michelle Wu's Christmas party. Whew, you saved me on that one. You don't laugh, I'm leaving the stage. I'm out of here. Back to Quincy. Oh, honestly, Mayor, I feel like your relationship with Boston voters is like dating on eHarmony. Your policies look much better online. I'm not serious, guys. What else? Who else can I go after? I can't go after Karen. I need her. Okay, what else do we got? I'm not going to do any more holiday party jokes. I have one more thing to do, Nick. And thank God the phone's here. And believe me, if this thing bombs, I'm out of here quick. If you work with me, we'll get a couple minutes out of it. Boston, so proud of their historical roots. They're so proud of all the legendary plows. But let's admit it. Quincy is the home of two presidents. Boston, zero. John Adams and John Quincy Adams. And I think I'm going to call John Adams. Okay? I think this phone is a time travel phone, I believe. Hi. Is John Adams there? Oh, it's his neighbor Mike Bellotti at the Southie breakfast. Who's this? John Quincy Adams? Yeah, go get your father, will you? Hello, Mr. President. Happy St. Patty's Day. That's right. My father was here earlier. I know that you graduated with him from Quincy High School. He was voted most likely to outlive everybody. So, what's happened since your time? Well, we've had Irish mayors, Italian mayors, Ray Flynn, Tom Menino, Marty Walsh. I know, Boston has come a long way since the birth of the nation. We have a new mayor, great mayor, doing a great job. She's from a land far, far away, bringing her far-left ideas, hijacking our culture, no respect for old traditional Boston. Yeah, she's from Chicago. They keep hijacking our politics, these Chicagoans. Her and Ayanna. So, she went to Harvard like you, a real smarty pants. But to her credit, she didn't have a letter, a recommendation from George Washington. She earned it. You know, I remember that Abigail always reminded you as president to remember the ladies, right? Well, the ladies hold all the important jobs in Massachusetts now. Right? And I gotta tell you, payback is, fill in the blank, please. We deserve it. So, how are we doing in terms of patriotism and nationalism in America? Not so good, honestly. Especially in New England. We've lost all our great patriots. They're all gone. Thank you very much. Have that person removed. That was my wife. She read the jokes earlier. Tom Brady. Jesus. Belichick, the Gronk, Danny Amendola. They're all gone. But Mayor Koch wants to invite you to Quincy's 400th anniversary in 2 years. Your house is still in good shape. But the city did turn it into Airbnb, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts on the front lawn. Folks, I want to say that I did my best, okay? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. See you, Mr. President. See you later in the neighborhood. Again, I really appreciate this opportunity. This is not easy, and I want to thank Nick again, the mayor, the governor, the senator, for having me, and especially all the Southie and Quincy and Boston area folks. Thank you very much.
All right, take a break for a little song. Oh, we're going to sing too, but you can sing so which one? Colonial Boy? Yeah. We're going to sing Wild Colonial Boy first, though.
There was a wild colonial boy, Jack Duggan, who was his name. He was born and raised in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love.
I don't know about you, Maureen, but I was squirming in my seats a little bit with Congresswoman Presley. Did you for a minute?
It was a little tense.
She did a good. They all have done such a good job.
You know what,
Treasurer Bellotti was fantastic.
Yes, he was. He was great. He's always a crowd favorite. The women have been strong today. Very good. Ayanna Presley definitely scared Senator Collins a little bit.
That was pretty good. So I want to talk a little bit about the history, because this has been here and a big, big, big tradition for Boston for a really long time.
Yes.
So I know it dates back all the way to maybe 1909 or somewhere around there. Tell us a little bit more.
So the original breakfast started as just that, a breakfast before the parade in 1909, and then the breakfast that we know now kind of morphed into what it is today. Back in the 1960s, Powers ran it, then Moakley, then Bulger, and Bulger kind of put it on the map as being something legendary, and he was the master at it.
But I mean, and that we know that he really made everyone roar the entire time they were here. But you have to say it is such a commitment, obviously, of Nick Collins to be able to make this continue, but of everybody that's here, because you can tell that they have completely put things aside and they're really just enjoying one another.
This whole production, it takes a village, and it's all hands on deck. It's been like this for the past week. And Senator Collins, you know, he's keeping his cool. He's up there. He's singing. He's telling jokes. He's doing a great job.
Well, there was a recent poll, a national poll, that called Boston the #1 place to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which was a pretty big deal. And it's been #1 a few times before. But this plays into it, right? Because you have the support of the decision makers of your state, and they're doing a fantastic job. I do not envy them for a second.
Nope. They make it look easy, but it's not easy.
They really do. It was nice for Mayor Wu to give a shout out to her daughter. I think that was very sweet.
And Mayor Wu was great.
Yeah,
Mayor
did
Wu
a
was
good
great.
job.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a break and we'll be back. Let's listen.
A fatal wound, a bullet pierced his proud young heart, the pistol of Fitzroy, and that was how they captured him, the wild colonial boy. And that was how they captured him, the wild colonial boy.
Let's hear it for Courage Fancy and the Triad Sisters. I want to recognize Mayor of Donegal County Council, Martin Harley's with us today. Thank you for joining us all the way from the Emerald Isle. I want to thank my colleagues who was just up here singing with us. Councilor John Fitzgerald, newly elected to the Boston City Council. Thank you, John. Representative Dan Hunt, Dorchester. Clerk of Suffolk Superior Court, John Powers. I see my friend down the end, Councilor Julia Mejia. Thank you for being with us this morning. And grateful for the support of Michelle Hart and her organization, Hanscom Federal Credit Union, the wife and stage of my former colleague and one of my mentors, her husband, former Senator Jack Hart. We hope you're watching at home. Thank you, Jack, for your years of service. Nice to see his brother-in-law, John Beatty's back there. John, thank you very much. Over 25 years in the United States Army. Thank you, John. As a major colonel. All right. I know people might find it strange that the plaintiff gets invited to the defendant's party, but to paraphrase Lyndon B. Johnson, President Lyndon B. Johnson, it's better to have someone inside the tent looking out than outside the tent looking in. So without further ado, please welcome our State Auditor, Diana DiZoglio.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy St. Patty's Day! And yes, it is Women's History Month, and in honor of both, I think this song is very fitting for today. Would you mind giving me a little bit of a beat? A little bit slower. Way slower. Yeah, here we go. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair. I will not lower my voice. My mother's child, she is a savage. She looks for her omens in the colors of stones, in the faces of cats, in the falling of feathers, in the dancing of fire, in the curve of old bones. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage savage daughter. I will not cut my hair, and I will not lower my voice. My mother's child dances in darkness. She sings her songs by the light of the moon and watches the stars and renames the planets. And she dreams she can reach them with a song and a broom. A song and a broom. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair, and I will not lower my voice. We are all brought forth out of darkness into this world through blood and through pain, and deep in our bones these songs they are waking, so sing them with voices of thunder and rain. We are our mother's savage daughters. We one run barefoot, cursing sharp stones. We are our mother's savage daughters. We will not cut our hair. We will not lower our voice. Happy St. Patty's Day and Happy Women's History Month.
Nice job. Now put your shoes on, for crying out loud. All right. I need a drink. I want to recognize some colleagues that are up here with us in great sports. With us, newly elected from the South End, who you heard share his skills as a vocalist, and that's Representative John Moran from the South End. Thank you, John. City Council President Lucy Louis-Jean. And my friend, the Dean of the Massachusetts House, Kevin Hayden of Allston Brighton. Our next guest has done a fine job as an at-large city councilor. As a legislator and lawmaker on the Boston City Council, she took those skills seriously as she fought an illegal redistricting map passed by the Boston City Council last year that divided South Boston, many public housing communities, and the neighborhoods of Dorchester and Mattapan. Through her efforts in the case that spanned the state and federal court system, she and the citizens of Boston who challenged that map won in court. The map was overturned, reuniting communities that the council had divided. So it's fitting that with all that experience, she's pursuing a candidacy to be elected to the clerk of the Supreme Judicial Court. So without further ado, please welcome my friend, a great friend of South Boston and justice, Councilor Erin Murphy.
Nick, I thought you were going to have me go after Mike, not after Diane. This is going to be harder. Good morning, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. I've been waiting many years. I thought with the name like Erin Murphy that I'd get the microphone sooner, but this year I have it, so thank you for that. Thank you, obviously, the Iron Workers Local 7 for hosting us today. Give it up. And Bridget Nee Walsh, a proud member, thank you. And also, I'd like to say that my friends from South Boston refer to me as their favorite cousin from Dorchester, so I hope I do you proud. I'll start with the joke. I have one joke. How do we know that Christ was Irish? Do we know? Because he was 33, still lived at home, thought his mother was a virgin, and she thought he was the Son of God. And if my son's listening, he knows that's true. But that was good. That's my joke. But the Murphy roots go way back to in the city of Boston. My great-great-great-grandfather, Thomas Christopher Murphy, my dad's namesake, was born right here in South Boston on Silver Street in 1873. Yeah, that's good, yeah. My great-uncle Tom Murphy, opened his jewelry store over 6 decades ago on Broadway, Murphy's Jewelers. And I'm wearing my clatter ring and my St. Christopher chain today, as always. But I want to say my maternal grandparents came over in the early 1900s, and they all worked as laborers and house cleaners, trying hard to make a better life for their children. What my 4 grandparents left to me was the value of family and hard work and taking care of your neighbors, something I know that everyone in this room knows is important to this neighborhood always. When my grandmother Susan Walsh passed away at the age of 102, I got several of her teacups in her prayer book that I have here with me today. She would carry it in her pocket always and would pray with me several times a day. But I want to leave you with one prayer that we often said together. And as I campaign, as Senator Collins mentioned, I am back on the campaign trail for clerk of the Supreme Judicial Court that Maura Doyle has held for over 30 years with such respect and dignity. But I want to share a prayer to those of my friends in Winthrop, Chelsea, and Revere. There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met yet. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you along the parade route.
Our district attorney, Kevin Hayden, is with us here today. You might have heard that he had to beat back all comers to get his job as a district attorney. And not only his opponent in the race, but also, shall we say, some outside influencers. Please welcome my good friend and someone dedicated to all Suffolk County, District Attorney Kevin Hayden.
Can everybody hear me? All right, you guys look fantastic. Thank you, Senator Collins, not only for hosting this breakfast, but this time not putting me up right after Mike Bellotti. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm gonna try my one joke. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's also Sunday, so we'll tell a preacher joke. So a Southern Baptist preacher from a small town down in the south spends all Sunday morning preaching several services. It's been a long day. Goes home with his family, and his wife says, "Oh, I forgot to get something for dinner. So I need you to go down to the market, get us something to eat for dinner." He goes, because he's tired, he's had a long day. He's like, "Oh boy." So he goes down to the local market, gets to the corner right before the market. There's a young man. He's sitting there at a stand. He's yelling out, "Damn fish, get your damn fish for sale here. Damn fish for sale, get your damn fish. $5 a pound, damn fish." And the preacher goes up to him and goes, "Son, you really shouldn't use such language. You shouldn't call them damn fish." And he goes, No, Pastor, they were bought down by the local creek, by the dam. They got them by the dam. That's why they're called damn fish. He goes, "What kind of fish are they?" He goes, I don't know. That's why we call them damn fish." So he's like, "Well, give me 3 pounds. He goes home. His wife is cooking. He throws the fish on the counter and goes, "Here's the damn fish." And his wife goes, "Oh, honey, you really shouldn't use such language." And he goes, No, it's not like that. And he tells a story. He said, "These fish are from the local dam." So she cooks them up, and they sit down to dinner with the family, and they pray over the food. And he says, "Father God, bless this food we're about to receive to nourish our bodies, and thank you for the hands that have prepared it in Jesus' name." And his 8-year-old daughter, Sarah, does what she always does. She immediately grabs the biscuits, grabs her biscuit, starts passing them around, grabs the butter. She's all excited. And his wife says, "Honey, will you pass the green peas, please?" And he goes, passes the green peas, and then looks at his wife and says, "And would you mind please passing me the damn fish?" And she goes, "Oh, honey." And then his son, Jeremiah, 10-year-old, goes, "That's the spirit, Dad. Now pass the frickin' potatoes." All right. Oh. Dead on top. Wonderful to see you all. Again, thank you, Senator Collins. Thank you, Local 7, the Ironworkers, for putting this together. As always, fantastic. Commissioner Cox, all of our men and women of Boston Police Department, Boston Fire Department, all of our first responders. Thank you for everything that you do to keep our city safe. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're all Irish today, and God bless you all. Take care.
Thank you, Kevin. Recognizing some of our colleagues that are joining us here from the legislature. Rep. Jeff Turco of Winthrop, Rep. Paul McMurtry of Dedham, Rep. Kate Donahue of Framingham, Dan Ryan of Charlestown, Rep. Bill Driscoll, candidate for Massachusetts Senate out of Milton, and candidate for state representative in Milton, Tony King. Next up, and also Councilor Marilyn Petito Devaney. Thank you for joining us, Governor's Councilor. What? I said, mention Kate. Thank you. Ed Flynn, my good friend, Boston City Councilor Ed Flynn. Come on up, Ed. He's a great family man, served honorably in the United States Navy for over 2 decades. But Ed deserves a medal for his service as a wartime president of the Boston City Council, taking incoming fire daily over the last 2 years, even if it was coming from the gang that couldn't shoot straight or drive straight. So last week, I filed legislation. I hope to get all your support to give Councilor Flynn combat pay for his role as a Boston City Council president. Without further ado, welcome our good friend, native of South Boston, Boston City Council, Ed Flynn.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Collins, for that wonderful introduction, and to the distinguished head table. Several of my colleagues were on the Boston City Council that are here. I know they've been mentioned already, but I still want to mention. Is also here as well, so I want to welcome them. I want to say thank you to the South Boston Allied Law Veterans Council for organizing today's parade. It should be a wonderful day, wonderful parade. And as Congressman Lynch mentioned, the Chief Marshal is Jerry Biel, graduate of South Boston High School. Actually went to high school with my father. He's a graduate of Holy Cross, Vietnam veteran. So we want to welcome and say thank you to Jerry Biel for his service. It's wonderful to be here, Local 7, being able to see so many South Boston natives and labor leaders here as well. But this Union Hall represents the men and women of Greater Boston that help build our city and help build our country, a clear path to the middle class. So we want to say thank you to Local 7 and all the working men and women who are on the stage. I want to say thank you to Nick Collins and his family, and his staff, and the volunteers for a wonderful breakfast. And for me, the Evacuation Day Parade, the wonderful events were sponsored over the last month by the South Boston Citizens Association, but they did exceptional work in bringing residents together, especially our youth, learning about history, learning about the importance of Evacuation Day Parade. So thank you to the South Boston Citizens Association. We're also celebrating our Irish roots, heritage, the contributions and sacrifices the Irish have made to our city and our country, and also the dignity of all immigrants, supporting social and economic justice for all. But our other aspect we want to highlight is the veterans, whether they're here in South Boston or throughout the country. But you built this city, you built our country. We want to thank you for your service, your sacrifice. You came home from war, but you never stopped fighting for your neighborhood and your country. We honor our military families as well. I just wanted to mention my good friend Rob Santiago from the City of Boston Veterans Department, who's the commissioner. a loved one is fully deployed in a war, my family knows that pain as well. I just want to recognize my wife, Kristen, also. And it's also really about honoring our Gold Star families, our Gold Star mothers. It's an honor to welcome back to the neighborhood Christine Devlin, Mrs. Devlin's son, Marine Corps Lance Corporal Michael Devlin. He made a supreme sacrifice for our nation in 1983 in the Beirut attack on the Marine Corps barracks in Lebanon. We will always honor her family's and her son's heroic service, memory, and sacrifice. We want to extend to Mrs. Devlin and her family our deepest respect for Michael's heroic service, and recognize and even share that pain that all of the Gold Star families have made. Mrs. Devlin, welcome to South Boston. And in closing, just want to welcome everyone to South Boston. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Evacuation Day. Enjoy the parade. Thank you, Senator Collins.
Thank you, Eddie. Want to recognize Representative Bill McGregor, who's joined us this morning all the way from West Roxbury. And the mayor of the great city of Everett, Carlo DiMaria, will be joining us in a minute. But next up, we're joined by our brand new dad, State Representative David Biel. Congratulations to David and his wife, Rosemary, on the birth of your daughter, Rosalie. David has realized fatherhood's a whole new world. Please put it together for South Boston's newest dad, State Representative David Biel.
Thank you, Senator, for that very kind introduction. I've always wanted to say this. Hi, Rosalie. Daddy loves you. See you in a little bit. I also do want to recognize another colleague who's here with us today, Rep. Carlos Gonzalez. Thank you for your support of this tradition. And good morning, everyone. I'm honored to be with you here today as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And while the entire nation today celebrates March 17th as St. Patrick's Day and our Irish heritage, here in Boston, we also celebrate Evacuation Day, an important day in our nation's history. On March 17th, 1776, occupying British forces evacuated the city of Boston, ending the multi-year siege of Boston by the world's greatest military superpower at that time, giving General George Washington and the Continental Army their first major victory of the American Revolution. And this was no singular achievement. In the winter of 1775, General Henry Knox was responsible for the successful transportation of 60 tons of cannons and armaments from Fort Ticonderoga in New York, bringing it here to Massachusetts using oxen and sled to overcome the winter terrain of snow, ice, and frozen bodies of water. On the night of March 4th, Major General John Thomas and 2,000 soldiers and volunteers began fortifying Dorchester Heights with those cannons and those armaments. At that time, General Washington ordered his troops in Cambridge to fire on British forces to focus their attention while the heights were fortified behind them. The very next morning, the British discovered the cannons had been strategically placed at the heights, overlooking Boston Harbor and aimed at the British fleet below. The British commander, General William Howe, remarks, "These fellows have done more work in one night than I could make my army do in 3 months." And with their troops and navy threatened by a fortified heights, the British were faced with the decision to attack or retreat. Not wanting to repeat the casualties of the Battle of Bunker Hill, General Howe decided to retreat, and 11,000 British troops and some 1,000 loyalists left Boston on March 17th, never to return. And the day became known as Evacuation Day. The events leading up to that day paved the way for our victory in the American Revolution and the founding of our country, and represents the story of our collective strength and our collective resiliency. This event is our shared history. It's our community's history, our city's history, our state's history, and our nation's history. And that happened just up the street. And later today, we'll pass by Dorchester Heights to honor that history and to tell the story for current and future generations. And I'm very grateful to be able to pass that along to my daughter. It's important that we keep our traditions alive and pass our history on to future generations. So. And in keeping with history and traditions, especially in the spirit of this breakfast, I will attempt to leave you with some Irish humor. So. One night, an Irishman is sitting in a local pub in Boston when he hears a familiar accent coming from the man next to him. The Irishman turns to the man and says, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I couldn't help but overhear you just now. If I may ask, are you from Ireland by any chance?" The man politely answered, "Why, yes, sir, I am." "Well, I'll be. So am I," replied the Irishman. "Whereabouts from Ireland might you be from?" The man replies, "Well, I'm from Dublin." "So am I," replied the Irishman. "And may I ask, what street did you live on in Dublin?" The man replied, "A lovely little area on McCleary Street in the old central part of town." The Irishman replied, "Small world, so did I." "And by chance, what school did you go to?" The man replied, "Why, I went to St. Mary's." The Irishman, now incredibly excited at making a new friend, responded, "So do I. What year did you graduate?" The man replied, "Well, I was class of 1967. The Irishman then stands up, orders a round, and proclaims, "The good Lord must be smiling down on us. I can hardly believe our luck at winding up at the same pub tonight. I graduated in 1967 from St. Mary's as well." And at that point, the bartender walked by, shaking his head and muttering, "It's going to be a long night. The Murphy twins are drunk again." Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Evacuation Day, everyone.
Thank you, David. I've had the pleasure of knowing our next guest for over 25 years. As high school classmates, she's always been a leader at Boston Latin School with kindness, grace, and tenacity, traits she no doubt learned from her mom, who I'm sure is watching at home. As an attorney and education advocate, she ran the passion race in 2020. I'm proud to support her and call her a friend. Please give a warm welcome to State Representative of the 12th Suffolk District, Brandy Fluker-Oakley.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. You know, my dear friend Nick, who I've known since '95, thinks he's Black Irish, but I'm the real Black Irish. Give it up. Come on.
It is so important to keep traditions alive, and that's exactly what we do here at the St. Patrick's Day Political Breakfast. It's been a pleasure broadcasting with you for the past couple of hours. Want to give you some notes. Good news, it's not currently raining outside. So if you're headed down to the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which will start at 1 o'clock, then you're not going to have to be soaking wet. Today went pretty well, almost without a hitch. A lot of laughs and good energy in this room. For folks who want to stay, because we are a little delayed, because that's what happens when you get this many people in a room together, you can stay as part of our live stream. You can find it at NBCBoston.com or also at NECN.com. I'm Jenny Johnson. It's been a pleasure to be with you. We hope that everybody enjoys today's wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and of course, happy Evacuation Day. And thanks, as always, to our host, State Senator Nick Collins.